white people. Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Austin Yorsky and Johnny Maloney. Guys, how are you? What's going on? What's going on with your lives?
They fired somebody at my work last week.
Neat. Let's talk about that and only that.
I watched a documentary on bears.
Any
We can talk about that too.
particular kind of bear?
Polar bears. They're soft and very big.
Yep.
The end.
Really, really big. Also,
for that.
also not considered to be a land predator, I hear.
Yeah, they're the biggest land predator. That's their whole guy. That's their whole thing.
No, I thought they were considered marine predators because most of their diet consists of shit they catch in the ocean.
You're a marine predator.
I could be if you give me, the right lake and.
All fishermen are marine predators.
I'm very tired. Can you hear?
Yeah, I
That's
hear
okay.
you didn't get much sleep last night, buddy.
Yeah.
You feeling this? You feeling the pressure? You got a little bit of that Florida guilt.
I'm just gonna answer in a wide variety of noises tonight. That's my thing. I'm noises
You're
guy.
gonna
Look,
be okay.
Me and Johnny can carry the show. That's no problem.
I
You
have-
just chime in.
I have a legitimate question about this because I was thinking about this today.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
What do you guys suppose?
Yeah.
Okay. His presidential library is gonna look like.
No. No more. None of that. This is a place of positivity. Let's talk about bunnies.
There's nothing like this is a definite like a real question here. And what's not positive about libraries, Austin? You can read the periodicals, go on the internet, and talk to your friends and family about words.
I feel like Trump's library will be the first library in history where homeless people are not allowed inside.
Nope, that was the first one. Anybody else says a name, I'm done. I'm exiting the call, and you will never hear from me again.
That's fine. I have something that is not going to be about him specifically.
Is there gonna be gold lame curtains?
But there is something. I do want to say something. Like, in all seriousness, I've been very, very sad all day. But there is one thing that actually made me smile and laugh twice, and I want to share it because I think that's a thing we could use. I don't know if you guys ever go to Dolph Lundgren's Twitter feed.
Oh yes, I've been there.
Okay, but Dolph Lundgren, when things were going south, said, "Don't worry, everyone. Dolph is short for dolphin, and you can all live in my underwater paradise." And I lost it, and I really needed that. We can literally talk about a million other things. I actually have topics today. I was watching the Darmok episode of Star Trek The Next Generation today.
At Tanagra?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
no, and Jalad at Tanagra.
Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Yeah. His eyes opened. Look, the point, what I'm trying to say is for anyone who has not seen that particular episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, it is about Picard and an alien called a Temerian, and he has to figure out what he's saying. And it turns out, spoiler, I guess, that they only speak in metaphor and references to their mythological culture. Now,
Temba. His arms wide.
Oh God. Here's what I'm wondering. When no one else is around, do they just talk to each other like normal? They're just like, oh God, I thought he would never leave. Yes, let's get the coffee. Or do they just keep that up forever? I mean, we never revisited them. I would like to think that they were just fucking with him. That this was just an elaborate prank. Look, I understand that there's an important lesson to be taken this about the importance of communication between cultures and the dangers of misunderstanding and respect among cultures. But I also think it's really funny. And when I was young and I watched that episode, I hated it. It was one of my most hated episodes But much like my learned respect for Picard himself, I grew up, and now I'm like, yeah, I get what you're trying to say, Star Trek. Well
I'm
done.
kind of curious because, like any spacefaring civilization, at some point in time,
Yep.
the aliens in this episode, I can't remember the race name, but they must have before developing space travel, they must have developed some sort of phone sex line, and that would have to be very reasonably priced.
How do contracts work for the Temerians? Like, those need to be specific.
Do you guys want to maybe start this one over and try to make it a bit more accessible? This is like...
Look, Austin, I'm trying to skirt around the fact that you're being a very sad boy right now,
Right.
and I want to make you feel better. So
I just want to say a lot of funny things because
if that means that we can distract you, I'll do a little dance. I mean, you won't see it, but
I'll believe that it happened.
I'm dancing in my chair right now.
I want to believe.
I liked it a
that
lot.
Johnny is dancing in his chair.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we all died, now we're in hell. Welcome. This is the first layer. This doesn't look like much, but I think we can spruce it up.
Do you guys remember when 2015 ended, and at the end of the year, we were like, oh my god, what a garbage year. Oh, that was awful. There is no conceivable way that 2016 could possibly be a worse year. And, like, we lost Prince and David Bowie and, like,
America.
R.I.P.
Like, there was a Brexit that happened.
Yeah. They Brexited.
that- Bless you.
I have like
What is there to say about it? I mean,
I don't know. I could talk like seriously about this like for hours because that's all I've been thinking about all day. But I feel like if we do, it's just gonna be like a downward spiral. Of
it
how
is. It's gonna be. I was up until 3:00 in the morning last night. I don't even live in America, man.
Yeah.
This ain't my job. I don't even work here.
Okay.
I think we have to stop for a moment and think about like what is the point of this show in a post-apocalyptic wasteland that we now live in. Like, I just want to take stock of what we're doing. Like, because, not sorry to not be funny for a minute.
No, that's fine.
Rubbing just enough salt in the wounds to disinfect.
Also, I'm only trying to be funny to like help you.
Yeah.
I can be serious. I can be serious if you want.
No,
but I don't
my
think
point
that
is,
would be great.
who are we helping and how? Because I had a very genuine sense of, fuck it. Like, why do I do any of this? Why does any, like,
Ooh.
like, what's the point?
Austin, that's what they want you to do, man.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
They want you to give up. They want you to cede control. That's like, I mean, arguably the whole thing happened because people didn't give a damn. I mean, you know, like, you can blame everybody loves to throw blame around on these things. They like to blame people who vote third party. They like to blame people who, you know, wrote in Bernie or bust or whatever, or something like that, you know. But the truth of the matter is like, voting numbers were down, like, by millions of people across the countryside from 2008 and 2012 both. And they won because of it. They won because people didn't give enough of a shit.
So you're saying
that's what they want.
I shouldn't have wrote in my choice for president as dogs. Just wrote dogs in the space there instead of bubbling in one of those bubbles.
You should have written good dogs.
That's how they get you.
What does it mean to be a good dog?
Are we not all good boys?
But that's the truth, though. That is the absolute truth. Is that apathy benefits only the people who are always vigilant. And I guess who those people are. Those are the people who aren't comfortable. Those are the people who always think that they can get a little bit more. The people who think that society's on a downward spiral because, oh no, 63 genders! I'm gonna have to have a phrase book! Or, you know, just be respectful. I mean, shut the fuck up, dude. It's serious. That's why. That's why you try. That's why you get back up again. I mean, take this from somebody who has very quite literally given the fuck up. Like, the lowest of the lowest point, where I felt like I had no other goddamn recourse except, I don't know, maybe the sweet embrace of death. And it's not good enough. It's not. You get back up again. Mm-hmm. And you work together, and you bond, and you... Every time somebody tries to take a little bit more of your dignity away, a little bit more of your freedom, and just like a little bit more of your empathy and your compassion, you put your foot down and say, no, this is mine. You can't take this from me. I fought for it. We fought for it, and we are going to keep it.
So are you saying that the point of this show is to be inspirational? Because I feel like...
No, I'm saying that the point of this show is to... There is no point to this show at all. I mean, we've been very candid about that. But the point at this juncture in time is to keep doing what you are doing. To show them that it doesn't fuck with you. That it doesn't mess with your brain. That you can still stand up straight in the day. And have a mandate. Even if that mandate is, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. But by God, by gum, by cracky, we're going to do it. And I pounded my fist on the desk at that point in time, because I'm trying to make a point.
I felt it.
I mean, it's okay to be sad. I'm not being like...
Oh, I'm very sad, but no,
oh yeah, I'm gutted.
No, but I cried in the shower. But that doesn't mean how do I put this? Cynicism doesn't help anyone. Is what I'm trying to say. So I try to think about how I approach my life, especially in philosophical ways, as things that need to be actionable to be important. So if I'm like, I feel bad, all right, well, how much is that benefiting me? Oh, not. So I should probably do something instead. So then I do, if that makes any sense. So I don't know. I don't have an answer to make things better. I definitely do not. But I don't know what the answer is, but I definitely know what it is not. And the answer is definitely not fuck it. That's it. That was my entire speech. It wasn't long or eloquent like Johnny's, but it's what I was thinking.
That's okay, Leon. I'm just about to go the opposite direction here.
Oh, great.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on a second here.
You're looking for songs or something.
I'm looking for lyrics to a song that I used to know how to sing.
Oh.
All right, here we go. Gray skies are gonna clear up. Put on a happy face. Brush off the clouds and cheer up. Put on a happy face. Take off the gloomy mask of tragedy. It's not your style. You look so good that you'll be glad you decided to smile. Whee! Pick out a pleasant outlook. Stick out that noble chin. Wipe off that full of doubt look. Slap on a happy grin. And spread sunshine all over the place. Just put on a happy face. Do-do-do-do, 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 do-do-do-do.
Well done, Johnny.
I don't think it's landing, Leon.
No,
I think we lost him.
No, it's okay. It's okay, and it's.
I
also,
feel like we're at the.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said I feel like we're at that scene at the end of Brazil, where suddenly Michael Palin and I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who plays Eugene Helpman stick their faces into the frame.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like we're standing in front of Austin, and we're like.
Also, Austin, it's also okay to feel shitty today. There is also that. But definitely don't just adopt that as like going forward, if that makes any sense. Because there is a lot of shit to do now. There's more shit to do now than there was yesterday.
Yeah.
So that's.
I mean, I gotta be honest with you guys. The most alarming thing to me about the whole thing was not his election. I was surprised by that, but not alarmed. What I am alarmed by is the clean sweep.
Well, here's the thing. Clean sweep a very clean sweep in terms of the Electoral College, but he lost the popular vote.
Oh no! I mean, like the House, the Senate.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes.
And now this means that unless Obama's got like some trick up his sleeve, the Supreme Court's going to be a Trump judge.
Right.
So
that's
that is the most alarming thing for me. But I mean, the ACLU has made it very clear in the less than 24 hours since final results that they are ready to fight every unconstitutional campaign promise that he ever absent-mindedly uttered because he thought it would get him profile.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, that's really the real problem.
As a young and upcoming lawyer, Austin, I would think that it would wet your whistle to do work with the ACLU.
Do you think hippos are soft? Do they look really...
Probably when they're born.
I think. Well, they're in mud and water a lot, so they're probably smooth and slick, like me.
Baby hippos are probably pretty squishy.
I mean, yeah, I know they're like slimy boys, but they're also full of squish. Is my thought.
They're very dangerous too. Not necessarily the babies, but like hippos account for quite a large amount of deaths in their natural habitats.
Yeah, they're slimy danger boys.
Slimy danger boys.
Mm-hmm.
Incidentally, the nickname of my high school chess team.
Do they? I'm trying to imagine a hippo now, and I realize I could just Google it, but this is more fun. Do they have like little hairs on them, or are they just so smooth all over? Because in my mind, they're always shiny.
They're also quite hungry.
I don't think they have any consistent hair situation going on. They might have like a little bit of hair or there, I think, but they're mostly shiny, slick, soft boys.
I just realized that like my body is so smooth and I have so little friction that if I went full speed head first down a slip and slide, I could probably escape the Earth's gravity.
That doesn't sound so bad.
Anything, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my university. I've talked before about the movie theater we have on campus, where we show like new movies and like classic movies, and they decided to show Doctor Strangelove, which was a thing.
Yeah.
What do you guys want
Gentlemen,
to talk about?
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite comedy line from a movie. Besides Miss White's speech from Clue about flames. But Austin, do you have any law stories? If not, I can totally talk about a million other things. But if you would like to just talk about law stuff,
I mean, I have stuff. I just don't know if my heart's in it. Like,
okay, we don't have to. I have other thoughts that I can share, but it's up to you. It's up to you.
We'll see how I feel later in the cast. Maybe we can come back.
Okay.
You say your thingamajig.
Sure.
Do you need me to sing "Simple Plan" for you? Is that what this is? Is this a cry for help?
You stop right now. Austin, I have a joke. Want to hear it?
Democracy.
Thanks.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Okay. So
You poor idealistic little boy.
okay. So Jesus comes back to Earth after about 2,000 years of being away, but he wants to understand what people are talking about. So he gets a bunch of social media accounts, and his first follower on Tumblr says, "What are your pronouns?" And Jesus says, "Capitalized." Boom! Best Jesus grammar joke ever. Thank you.
I just want to start screaming and then never stop.
It's a fine joke.
Did I ever tell you guys about how my friend Clam laughs?
Yes, I would like to hear it.
Because you know how a normal human laughs, right?
A little.
Can maybe one of you demonstrate like what a normal human laugh might sound like?
That would not be me, so it would have to be
Yeah, okay, so something like that. For comparison's sake. Now I'm going to try to do the way this guy laughs. I don't know if it can be picked up by microphones, but we'll try. Okay, so somebody say something funny.
But is he a sprinkler?
This sounds like I'm making it up. That's actually when he finds something funny, that's the noise that emits from him.
I see that he was really surprised about the teams in the World Series.
Yeah. Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friends were convincing him. He was very drunk, and they were trying to convince him that the people playing the World Series were the Cleveland Lobsters and the Chicago Bears. And at some point, he just snapped and just ran out of the room screaming, "No fucking way!" That's a little taste.
Okay. Hey guys, I like Anita Sarkeesian's new show about historical women.
Yeah.
It's very good. Here's the thing. As much as I like it, I really like watching shows that are longer than 4 minutes. That's kind of the way I am. I like going, if I'm looking for a video on a topic, and one says it's 2 minutes and another says it's 13 minutes, I'm like, we will watch the 13-minute one because that probably has more for me because that's how the arrow of time works.
But not necessarily the sphere of YouTube.
Okay.
Because something that has 13 minutes of content doesn't mean it's 13 minutes of content. If you
that's
get
fair.
What I mean,
that's entirely fair. But I like things that are 10 minutes or longer.
I totally understand. All I'm trying to say is that YouTube.
I understand what you're saying, but here's the thing.
Continue.
It's actually very smart that she did that though, because everyone always tells me, and there are analytics to back this up, that people are more likely to click on something if it is less than 10 minutes, and especially if it's less than 5 minutes, and watch it to its completion. For example, a lot of people click on my show, but not everyone stays for the entire thing. And that's not to say that it gets boring, at least I hope that's not true. But people just don't do that. They're like, okay, I guess I'll watch this for a few minutes. And
that's why you gotta save the good shit to the end, Leon. Just like that full penetration criticism that they come for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm always going for no, I can't. So the point is,
give the people what they want, Leon.
The point is, it makes perfect sense to do this, and like I said, I do like the show, but it's like, oh, these are the really interesting topics. Let's go on about this for a while because I want to know more. I mean, otherwise, I could go to Wikipedia, but I prefer, audiovisual.
But then you
content.
have to read.
I prefer audiovisual.
Readings for
content.
losers, right?
Oh well. The point is, someone in my comments said, I wish your videos were longer. And in my mind, they are exactly as long as they should be. In terms of getting a proper YouTube audience and also providing a decent amount of content and information within the video. If they're, basically, I tried to do much, much longer videos before. They aren't as marketable as one would think. A couple were, but only more because of the topic and not because of how big it was. For example, I'm working really, really hard to get the very, very old Mulholland Drive video up. It's about an hour long. It did not do well at all. It was like a month and a half of work that did not pay off at all. So I shouldn't be doing that. Is what I'm trying to say.
Effort is inversely proportional to reward. There's no justice in the world, and in fact, being qualified is often fatal to your attempts to get anywhere in life. I think I'm going to go in for a job interview to be a surgeon tomorrow, and they're going to say, Austin, you're not qualified, and I'm going to say, apparently that doesn't matter anymore.
Okay. I'm normally a believer in like hard work pays off. But that works. That can't be a universal concept. That's more just like a thing that usually, but does not always, work for me. That's more like personal mantra rather than this is the thing that's going to work for everyone, because clearly it does not.
I'm a big believer in egg-based dishes.
Ooh.
All right,
Frittatas,
I'm gonna try to pull. I'm
omelets,
gonna try to pull this together for the audience. Give me a sec.
Okay,
eggs Benedict.
what's happening?
I was slapping myself across the face. I'm psyched. All right, you guys are talking.
Quiches.
You guys want
I
to
like
talk about
quiches
law
are
stuff?
Yeah, law.
All right.
Become the law for us.
I will become the physical
Law.
embodiment of law. I had a case here about land use and racism. That doesn't seem like a particularly amazing concept to dig into right now. Let's go with a fun case. You guys want a fun case?
Oh, they're all fun.
They're all fun when you care about justice, like I do. Want to talk about one where someone gets their face melted off? That feels apropos.
That sounds nice and light.
Was he a Nazi wearing a hat?
Why would the hat matter? What is
How much polyester is in this case?
All right, so the case I want to bring to you today is called Smith v. Leech Brain, which sounds yeah.
It cannot be someone's name.
No, of course it's not a name, it's a company.
Oh, that cannot be the name of a company.
Who the hell would name their who?
I
when
think it's
you want leeches, trust the leech brain. We always have leeches on the brain.
the smartest, most erudite leeches. No, I think it has to do with like leeching, like the process, the chemical process.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, it's boring. They're a metalworks company.
And here I was hoping that we were getting back to like middle age law, where some guy was like, "I can cure your priapism. Just use this leech on your brain."
Now that wouldn't have been a lawsuit. That's just good science. You get all that bad blood out, and then Jesus gives you new good blood.
You see, I could be a doctor.
Yeah, we all can now. So
You see, what you need, Austin, is just to adjust your humors. Have you thought about eating a bowl full of bile and then, I don't know, getting rid of your wind essence?
I'm very phlegmy right now. I have an excess of phlegm. This case, this guy works at a metalworks. There's a giant,
Is the metalworks owned by Leech Brain?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if a tub isn't the right word. It's a vat of like Terminator 2 end of liquid metal, molten metal. You feel?
I hear you.
And it's his job to use a crane to lower stuff into it.
What kind of metal?
Molten. I don't know that it matters any further than that.
Is it like an alloy, or is it something like, is it pure?
If
Is
it
it
matters,
zinc?
Is it just like iron, or is it like maybe, bronze or something?
if it mattered, I'd tell you.
Okay.
That's the irrelevant information. So
Look, I'm just a stickler for the details,
Yeah.
okay? That's the way I run my law practice, Yorsky.
I
If you
appreciate
don't
it.
like it, you can just go ahead and get a job somewhere else.
Oh, I will. I lost my train of thought.
All right, so he's with this. He's vatting it up with
Yeah.
molten metal.
He's lowering
He's a
things.
leech, yes.
He's lowering leeches.
He's getting his vat on.
But when you put things into molten metal, sometimes it splashes. So they build a brick wall around it. But then he can't see it. He can't see the vat because it's behind a wall, right? And so, and there's also there's the idea that he has like this piece of corrugated iron that he has to lean against to create the shield. It's very, very bad, this whole situation. It's, I believe, in the 1950s. They just don't have any of the safety shit figured out.
Right.
So long story short, and there's
Hot
more.
stuff, soft flesh,
Yep.
bad recipe.
He peeks out from behind his shield. He gets splashed a little bit. I said his face got melted off. No, it just hit him like on the lip, and it burned. Apparently not bad enough to even go to the hospital. Like he doesn't seek immediate medical attention.
Dude walked it off?
Yeah, I guess he put some stuff on it apparently. And,
Did everybody else call him Nickel Lip for the rest of his time there?
well, this is about to get a lot less funny because it doesn't heal, like ever.
Right.
And
Because you've got a bunch of, like, metal that just basically burned its way into your skin.
and when he eventually does go to the doctor, they're like, "Yeah, dog, you got cancer in your face now." And
then he emerged from the vat and became Leech Brain.
I wish. No, he died.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Leon. He was headed that way anyways, being a man who was of working age in the 1950s.
I would like to believe in my version of events, but for this alternate history that you're giving us, Austin, how does this become like a lawsuit or whatever?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Who's in trouble? Why? To what extent? What is your like intuition? Because I mean, I look around myself right now and say, like, you can't regulate this. That would be un-American.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. If there were rules in his workplace that were like, we built a brick wall, stay behind it. And it was like, here's your little corrugated tin roof shield, stay behind it. And he's like, man, fuck the man. And he leans out and gets a cancer in his face. That's sort of like him, right? That's on him. Because if you build a road and are like, okay, don't stand in the road or you're going to get hit by a train, because
Yeah, and that definitely
I make the rules now.
And that definitely comes up, but also other relevant factor is that at this time, other metalworks were introducing like reasonable safety procedures, like having glass enclosures that you can see through while also being
is that
protected.
like is that a government mandate at this point in time? Because like if they're not breaking the law by being like, here's your brick wall and like wooden shield replica of the Link shield.
Like,
good luck to you.
Negligence laws don't like explain every single possible thing under the sun that could possibly happen. That's like the idea that like, well, it doesn't say a dog can't play basketball. It's like, no, I mean, it's just implied by the very idea of negligence.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I do have one question though. Was there a big sign that says danger cancer?
No, and yeah, I like Leon's picking up on like the two important elements of this is you don't necessarily have to break a law to be liable. If the thing you're doing is unreasonable and there's a reason why you should not be doing it, even if there isn't an explicit law, you could still be in trouble. And what is the? Because remember we talked last time about proximate cause in that train case. Like what the series of events not only has to have cause and effect, but it has to have cause and foreseeable effect. And how does that treat you? And
so essentially, by providing this man insufficient safety circumstances and equipment, they were encouraging, or at the very least, facilitating an accident that would happen at some point in time or another.
And the question is the burn foreseeable when you're working with molten metal? Is it foreseeable that you get burned? Probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it foreseeable that you will get cancer?
No, not necessarily, I don't think. Especially in the mid-20th century, when everybody was like, man, smoking's real healthy, don't you think? Here, have a cocktail.
Yeah. So does anybody else have any more thoughts before I just bust this melon open?
Bust it.
Bust it?
Make it
so...
feel good.
Give me the raw, unfiltered law, Austin. Just pour it all over me.
So they weren't breaking any laws, but because other people in the industry were using better, more reasonable techniques that they
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, they were found to be liable for negligence because it is not the legislature's duty to account for every possibility. You have to, that's called negligence per se. When you break a law and are negligent.
I just think it's fantastic that it was like, that everybody else in the industry was like, hey, Jim, you should really get one of these clear safety enclosures. It's real safe. Nah, fuck you guys. I'm doing it old school. Tss, my lip.
But yeah, it's especially because you basically had prior notice that you were being careless and decided to ignore it. And he was found not to be like contributory to the event because a person would reasonably look past their shield every once in a while in the course of doing the kind of job he was doing. Because that's definitely
to make sure that they were actually doing their job properly.
Yeah. So the defense definitely argued like, well, he peaked. He peaked. We win. That's the base. We touched base. The court said that was garbage. And here's where it gets interesting. And I think this is the reason they teach us this case is because the burn was foreseeable. The cancer is not necessarily, but since it is the same injury, so it's like the cause and the effect definitely are actual, and they're proximate for the burn. So it's established. And whatever happens after that doesn't need to be foreseeable. So it's like there's like a two-part...
You're presuming that the burn is the cause of the remaining
of the cancer, yeah.
If it had been an infection or an amputation, a lip amputation, as it were.
Yeah, so as long as the injury is of a
lamputation?
As long as the injury is of a foreseeable type, you're liable. It does not matter if it's a foreseeable extent, and that is called the Eggshell Skull rule. The idea being that if you just...
That sounds badass. Right there, you've got yourself a fucking heavy metal band name.
That is a good heavy metal band, the Eggshell Skull. If you punch someone in the face, expecting only to hurt them a little bit...
Which maybe some of us have, Leon.
It's if someone you punch just so happens to have a skull made of eggshell and their head explodes, you don't get to argue, well, I didn't know that was going to happen. You still did a bad thing, and the thing you did caused
why would
it.
we do that, Leon?
Having an eggshell skull can also often lead to leech brain.
That was the secret of the Eggshell Skull, was it was filled with leech brain. But it's just...
I feel like I learned something today, guys.
I feel like I have not, but I really enjoyed the jokes.
Yeah. But like, if you think about it, it makes it so that you can't go around hurting people and then claiming, oh, I didn't mean it like that.
Right. But no, I do get it. Yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword, because like, what if the example we had was like you have a fender bender, right? And it's like, oh, I have to pay for that fender. That's fine. That's reasonable. Oh, they had a Rembrandt in their trunk. Like, oh, like now I'm fucked forever, infinity. Like that is still the same accident I did, right? It's there's actually like things you can come up with that take that to a weird extent.
So what you're telling me is don't drive into art collectors.
I think the idea is really just to put the kibosh on as many torts as possible.
Don't be a dick.
Just don't risk it. You never know the guy you're punching. He might be made of Legos, and it'll just come apart.
What if
I
am charged with negligence, but the negligent act was me bending down to tie my shoelace, and then a guy tripped over me and fell down a manhole, and that guy happened to be Barack Obama?
I'm not sure that's negligence on your part.
I wasn't paying attention. You really should.
Did you have a duty to not? So here's the thing about negligence. You don't owe it to everybody all the time, always. There has to be a reason why you were supposed to be looking out for his interests. Like where you weren't employing Barack Obama. He's not your child.
In this scenario, I have voted for him, but I am not part of his...
So you're not like Secret Service?
No, not at all. I'm just me. I'm literally me in this situation. I'm not someone else.
Well, I'd say that because you voted for him, he's more responsible for you than you are for him.
I voted for him twice, in separate elections.
Well, then he's doubly responsible for you, and by gum by cracky, he should have something to say about it.
He should apologize for falling down a manhole.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this guilt caused my client, Leon, severe mental distress.
Yeah.
Mental distress is actually super hard to get an award for, because anybody can just say they're mentally distressed. You have to go pretty far to show it.
I'm mentally distressed all the time. Like there's no secret to that. They call it being an adult.
Yeah.
Where just the universe like jumps up and down on your head repeatedly, like first thing in the morning until when you go to bed at night, and then it jumps up and down a little harder because nothing else is going on, and then you hug yourself in the cold, dark night and pray for sleep.
But to answer your question, Leon, you probably would be fine because it's not unreasonable to tie your shoe, and you don't really owe a duty to protect Barack Obama. So you would not have breached that duty as a matter of law.
Or to leave your shoe untied.
I find it really weird that I would get away with it, but all right.
You get away with tying your shoe? If anything, he was negligent in walking into you.
See? He owes you, Leon.
Yeah,
Maybe he assumed I would get out of the way because he's the fucking president.
I'm going to get on Twitter and ask him who the hell he thinks he is.
Oh gosh, please don't do that. Well, wait a minute. You're Canadian. You're not subject to our sedition laws. Anyway, wait, are you? Nah, I don't think so.
I watched a movie this week, and it just so happens to be the one Leon's about to release an episode on, so I don't know if we want to get into it. But
What movie is that?
The Neon Demon.
Neat.
Ah, I want to see that.
I have thoughts.
I haven't entirely wrapped my head around it, so I have to watch it again. I only saw it the once in the theaters, but I'm going to watch it again tomorrow morning.
I should probably rent it.
I think
That's what I should do.
I think it's definitely the weakest of his films. I like all of his other ones a lot more, but it's not bad. It's just that
you've seen Valhalla Rising and Pusher?
No, I haven't seen his older stuff.
Okay.
I'm only seen the mainstream ones. I'm such a poser.
No, you should sit down and watch Valhalla Rising, Austin. There's like no dialogue in it, and Mads Mikkelsen is like a crazy Viking.
Nice.
Yeah.
That does sound good.
It's not big. I'm not really ready to talk about it in like great detail at this point in time. I've talked to you guys about my TV watching habits before, where it's like, because I'm trying to get my way through JOJO right now. But JOJO being like, subtitled, it's not really something. It also, visually, it's a treat. Even as far as like anime series go.
It's the Nicholas Winding Refn of anime.
Well, I wasn't gonna say that, Austin, but now that you mention it, no. Yeah. But I can't always have it on when I'm like doing things, when I'm like cooking or cleaning the kitchen or something like that. And I ran out of X-Files, so there came a point in time where I was like, I need a new kitchen show. I need something I can put on in the background and kind of like have on when I'm doing other shit, and I can hear and I can like look up and be like, oh, they kissed. So I've decided that I'm gonna give The Walking Dead another shot.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because everybody keeps talking about it, and I didn't think it was gonna make it past like 4 seasons. I got partway through the 3rd season, and I was like, I think I told you this story where I didn't record an episode, and then I started, like, I skipped an episode and started watching the next one. I was like, oh my god, I missed an episode. And it occurred to me that I was like, oh, I should probably go and, like, stream that off the AMC website, or, it's probably on demand on cable. And the amount of effort it would have taken to press a button on my remote control that would be like, hey, these are some TV shows that you might have missed. I was like, that seems like a lot of effort. And I realized, I was like, wow, I'm really not enjoying this show. I don't think it's going to last another season. But they're at like 8 now? Or something? So, I sort of feel like, okay, am I missing something? Was there a turn? Was there a crux? Was there a moment where they, like, snatched it back from the fire of the 2nd season? And, so, I'm doing that.
Okay.
I'm only in the 2nd season right now, and, like, I was trying to look upon it charitably, as if, like, hey, like, maybe watching the episodes in slightly closer proximity, like, one after another and things like that, and nope, 2nd season is trash, rubbish, it's absolute fucking garbage, it is some of the worst TV in the world. It is so full of filler and so many scenes of, like, the same characters having the same conversations. What does it mean, man? Do you ever think we're alone? It's like, cut to somebody in a church cradling the statue of Jesus. I just need a sign! Oh, God.
I'm actually surprised it's as popular as it is, considering so much of it is literally just white people talking philosophy.
Yeah, So, I mean, hopefully this time I will have the stomach to make it through the 2nd season, finish the 3rd, and press on into the unknown, but...
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, back when I...
You watch it, don't you, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I'd given up on it for a while, but I keep getting pulled back in just because they've made characters I care about, so I want to check in on them every once in a while. Like, it's not a great show, but it's made some people
I love me some Glenn.
Yeah,
but
he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. Glenn's a good boy.
So I have a thing too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like your things.
that I've caught up on. Do either of you guys watch Adventure Time?
Oh yeah.
How
I've watched like I think the first season.
how
I've seen every episode, and I am eagerly awaiting the new episodes coming very soon.
Nice. So yeah, I just caught up on the latest season. And so the last one was kind of bad. The last season was the low point of the show.
When you say last, do you mean most recent, or is this final?
All right. So there's a lot of seasons of this friggin' show. There's like a bajillion episodes of it. And
It's going to go on for about 2 more years.
Yeah.
So the most recent season is not the last season.
No, that's.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to discern whether or not it was the finale season, as in the last season, or the last is in the most recent. Okay, so the most recent season, you were saying,
the previous
was
one.
not very good.
The one, okay, so the one with the Marceline miniseries is the newer one that I'm not talking about. That the one before that is the one that I thought was pretty weak.
Okay, so there's one airing now then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
so
something.
not the current season.
Okay, this is not
Oh
productive.
my god.
It's not productive. So the show, I think once upon a time, I would say like the 3 best.
Hang on, I'm
Nope,
confused.
Nope. The 3 best shows that were running were like Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, and Adventure Time. It was like a golden age of like really smart, complex, like nuanced cartoon shows for kids that still had like stuff to say. And Gravity Falls ended on its own terms. It was great from beginning to end. I think Steven Universe is going strong. It hasn't really had a drop off. It's, who knows, it maybe someday will suck, but right now it's fine and it's great. But Adventure Time was great for a long time, and then it had this dip, and that I kind of lost interest in it, and I only checked back in because there was this mini series dealing with Marceline, like one of the more prominent secondary characters, and so I checked in for that, and it's like, oh, not only is that good, but like the whole new season is good. Leon, thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, I like the new season. The Marceline like miniseries, Stakes, I thought was really good. It was like, I think there was a song at the end I really liked. Also, at the very end, that was real good. And you know, here's the thing: like halfway through, like there's this huge change for the character, and the weird thing is, things actually do change sometimes in this. It doesn't always go reset back to the very beginning. There's always like all these new like lore to learn about this show. It is a weird, complex mythology, is what I'm trying to say. So I was not sure how it was going to end exactly, but I guess it did like almost revert back to normal. But there were also like some other stuff. I'm trying to like talk about it without spoiling everything, since I know some people are like behind.
It's the thing that Steven Universe kind of does too, where like the status quo of them all being in a certain place and fighting bad guys is kind of always the same, but they add like little twists here and there, like with Finn's plant arm thing, or just like the nature of Garnet in Steven Universe, where it's like, oh well, things are never going to be the same. They're going to work more or less the same, but now this is a fact of the show from now on.
The episode where Finn goes into a dungeon and closes his eyes and leaves, and every time he opens his eyes he goes back to the dungeon, even if he's been outside of it for months. That was like, I don't want to say heartbreaking, but like a surprisingly like sad kind of episode, because I'm like, oh my god, this is like watching body horror. It's like just the very idea of it is just terrifying. But yeah, I love that episode. I like the Stakes ones as well, and I always love Ice King. He's great. Oh yeah, there was that other Ice King episode where they're inside like brain meat.
So I think more specifically, what I wanted to say about the show though was like the first good seasons were like essentially a coming of age for Finn, the main character of the show, where he went from kind of an immature kid to like a young man, and he had to like learn about responsibility and about like women and respecting their decisions and choices and boundaries and whatnot. And then that kind of resolved, and so the show just didn't know what to do for a while. And I think what makes this new material stronger is that it's found what to do, and that is to explore other characters. Obviously Marceline's miniseries was about her, and I think that's what made it interesting, is we got more about her. But it's also like other characters are getting fleshed out to more an extent. Like there's a whole Banana Guard episode, and like no one's ever thought about like what do the Banana Guards have going on like internally, but like apparently they have stuff. I don't know. It's just that they've realized like Finn's he's still important, but he's kind of done developing. At least for the time being, I think it's important not to like he's the main character. We just gotta keep focusing on him. It's like he's a boy. He's done.
I like all the recent Princess Bubblegum stuff where she has to she like does like a heel turn at some point, but it's not like explicit. There's just all these like every once in a while a character like in the background will say, you know, sometimes I think Princess Bubblegum is evil, and then like no one talks about it for like 6 episodes.
It's more like it's like a natural consequences of her like personality. Like in other shows, it'd be played off, but rather like people remember the like some of the shit she does. It kind of subverts your expectations there. But I imagine this is like, yeah.
But like I think there was also a recent episode in this season where she's like, I'm trying not to be horrible anymore, so I'm taking down all these cameras that I've been spying on you forever. So I like that. But yeah, I super love the show.
Y'all are talking a bunch of jumbledygook.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I imagine this sounds like nonsense if you don't listen to the show.
This is like what happens when you guys talk about JoJo, and I just kind of sit here and my eyes turn completely white.
No, like I said, I've seen some of Adventure Time, so I'm familiar with at least, you know, a little bit of it.
Yeah, it's super good. You want to do questions?
Yeah, sure. Yuzuki, the Yuzuki lives on Twitter asks, "What when Meatloaf said I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. What do you think he wouldn't do?"
He just means like the previous thing that he said. He actually explained this in a video once. It's not supposed to be a secret. We're just not taking it well.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not butt stuff?
Oh, come on. Meatloaf totally does butt stuff.
Meatloaf both gives and receives butt stuff, like, all the time. Like, twice before breakfast. No. He apparently, like, was confounded by the fact that people didn't understand what he was saying, and that it was supposed to be a mystery, and he explained it on stage once, and I'm sure if you, like search for it on YouTube, where it's just Meatloaf explains the song, it will explain it.
I'm pretty sure if you just read the goddamn lyrics,
there is also that, but he lays it out in like baby talk for everyone. I'm sorry. Everyone wants a funny answer.
Yeah.
No. Everything that came to mind was terrible.
I'm looking at it right now.
I think we've all experienced this as like internet content creators, where you feel like you've said something like very clearly and explicitly, and like people are like, "What did you mean by that?" And then other times you're like are trying to like be subtle or hint at something, and then like people definitely think you said something else. It's like, what must I do to be clear?
When I'll just tell you a little trade secret of how I write my essays. I try to anticipate what people will say in response to what I am saying. And in doing that, not only does it help me go back and say, oh, I should elaborate on this, but also it helps me like, okay, I bet someone's going to say this shit. Let me just remember exactly where I said this. So when the first person who says, well, when you said, no, that's not what I said, and at 2 minutes and 31 seconds, at the timestamp, you will see that I did not.
That's actually something you have to do in law, is anticipate the other side's like argument and shut it down before they get there, so that if they try to say what they were going to say, they'll sound stupid.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to say that, Austin.
I prepared a trap just for you.
I speak in the way that I speak, so no, I don't try for I try for like being explicit on my show as much as I can.
That's what I said. Full penetration analysis.
Right, but like there are rare moments where I will just kind of imply something because I don't want to say it, or an even more rare moment where I'm trying to be funny. And someone a while back when I did the Civil War episode, someone said, and was quite serious. This like went on for a while until I understood what he was saying. He was trying to say, "Look, I think you gave the Vision too hard of a time for saying that thing. I mean, really, it was the writers who said that. So you shouldn't have got on his case. I mean, really." And this went on for a while until I understood what he was saying. And I'm like, do you not understand that I was being facetious when I said maybe an artificial intelligence should have known better? Did you not get that I was being like, I wasn't being serious? And he's like, no. It's like, okay, well, we're done now. So I should never be funny. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm trying to say. And I should always be like super clear.
I knew you were going to say that, Leon.
Okay.
And in advance, I've drafted a number of extremely good Jesus grammar jokes that I will pass to you.
Here's a question for, I think, mostly Johnny. Cyretha asks,
What
was the most bizarre moment you've seen in JoJo so far?
Probably the guilt episode.
The lock from
Yeah, the locks.
from Diamond is Unbreakable?
Yeah, from Diamond is Unbreakable. That was like, it's really funny because, when I watch, more bizarre live action movies, Nicholas Winding Refn, David Lynch, Darren Aronofsky, Tarsem, a lot of the times I'm struck by the inventiveness of the visual as opposed to like a work of invention. But there's something that happens to me when I watch animation, when I realize that animation in video games, actually, when I realize that these strange, surreal things are entirely products of someone's imagination. Like, they had to be built from the ground up as a space, as characters, as dialogue, as costumes, as locations. Animation and video games are unique in the way that you can very specifically create things. But live-action film is, while more versatile these days than it used to be, is always kind of like a battle to adapt reality. So that when somebody finds a really great location in a film, and the director of photography like manages to capture it perfectly, I never say to myself, "Wow!" Like I'm amazed by the creation of this moment. And I realize that may sound like I'm selling filmmakers short, because a lot of work goes into creating these moments. There's a photographer that I've gotten into recently named Gregory Crudson, who takes still photos, but they look like just photos taken right out of movies. And the amount of work, I've watched short films on this guy's process, the amount of work that goes into taking this like one shot for these photos is stupefying. But when I see animation in video games, there's this moment in my head where I go, "Oh my God, that is so creative. That is so, you wrought this from nothing." So when I watch a weird episode like the Lock of Guilt episode, I'm amazed that in the first place that somebody wrote it. Somebody was like, "Yeah, so I've got this crazy idea," and then they either do the artwork themselves, or they have friends or team members or employees or whatever you want to call them that do the art, and everybody can kind of like wrench this situation, this art, up from nothing. So the Lock episode, while like if you were to see someone try and direct that in a real movie, in a live action film, that would probably be like super disturbing to see these like pieces of machinery like suddenly jutting out of people's chests, these like ornate locks and weird, just like, but you know, watching it in JoJo, it's this weird kind of like lighthearted. I can appreciate the creativity and like the absurdity and the comedy all at the same time. It was fun and strange and really creative, and yeah. That's probably my favorite, most bizarre moment.
You could probably make an entire movie about some of the weirder stands coming up, because just like the idea, it's almost like a magical realism. Like, what if guilt had weight? Like, that's a movie. Like, in the same way, like sometimes you get like high concept science fiction stuff.
That's a Black Mirror episode.
yeah, or like a Black Mirror episode. Yeah. So that they just did it in kind of a couple of chapters of a comic is pretty cool. I think my most bizarre moment from JoJo is in Stone Ocean, where Weather Report uses reflected sunlight to convince people that they're snails, so they turn into snails. Which I'm like,
are you allowed to use story arcs that haven't been animated yet?
Who's gonna stop me? What are you gonna
do? Okay.
Next question. James Neely asks, hard or soft tacos?
Oh, soft tacos.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hard tacos.
What the?
You maniac!
Why wouldn't you just eat chips, Leon? Why not just have chips?
I can also have chips, but I would also like a hard taco.
Or nachos. Like, I mean, you could, like, nachos.
Yeah. A hard taco is just a fucking larval.
It's a self-contained nacho.
Yeah.
And Taco Bell knows this, because they're like, hey, would you like a Dorito taco?
Just throw your hard taco down on the ground and then eat your floor nachos.
Wow. I've never heard anyone have a problem with hard tacos.
Man, shredded beef tongue, top fried with a tequila barbecue sauce, and like a little bit of salsa verde.
Okay.
Johnny's always got to take it to that gourmet place.
No, fuck. I've got this. I have this taco place in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. There's a taco place.
Yep.
Oh man, and it's amazing because you cannot get good Mexican food in Vancouver. You can't. It's like, if you have, you've wandered off the grid. You're in the upside down. But I found it.
Hard tacos are delicious. They're just inefficient. I can eat more soft tacos or nachos than the time it takes me to get my stupid mouth around a hard taco. It's just...
They are inferior. Yeah. Hard tacos, they're good, but they're inferior.
I'm not like... What am I like in a rush? I'm not having a taco eating contest.
I feel like life is kind of just a taco eating contest. Like, my overall happiness is basically proportional to the amount of time I'm eating Mexican food. So everything else I do is really just window dressing of Austin eating tacos. So I feel like I am in a rush because there's only so much of that cheesy, meaty goodness I'm going to get in my time.
You're in like northern Florida, aren't you, Austin?
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not as good Hispanic food up here, unfortunately.
No, I was gonna say, like, do you still get good Cuban food up there?
There's a couple of places, but honestly, I haven't really been pursuing it. I don't have the time or money to like go out.
Yeah,
I basically just make my own food.
All right.
Yep. Alexis David asks, if Leon has an idea for a Dice Funk campaign, why not make it into a novel / screenplay / etc.? That's an amazing start to this. It's not as fun without players fucking it up, but still.
Yeah. It's mostly that. I would enjoy it more that way. But the other reason is,
I know you're probably hesitant to give it up, but I am curious because your whole style as a player is to give as little shit as possible. So
this will be a lot. There will be a lot of shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, like, you don't feel like a little bit bad about that, about expecting players to take your thing seriously after not taking
No.
No.
You don't understand. The world will be serious. You do not have to be. Like Johnny's campaign was dark and gross.
Uh-huh.
We were not, and that was the fun part, because we were like laughing at the oblivion.
I would
It
say
was
that's
like,
our
it was
brand,
nuts.
but I think that's all D&D eventually gets to that point, right? Unless you have like a group of really serious, dedicated role players. Like, it's just human nature to start goofing on how self-serious a lot of it is. I don't know.
I don't know.
It strikes me
I
as
don't know, man. I think I've got a pretty serious arc for Drop going.
yeah,
Yeah, there is also that. Yeah.
that's true. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in this idea of Leon as DM because it seems so antithetical to the way he conducts himself in that format.
I don't know. It's like having a DM that can roll with the punches, that can just kind of like take the goof off and throw some back in your face, can be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's the most fun. It's not at all that. It's just the idea of Leon being taking a fantasy world seriously. I've never experienced it.
I don't know if it's something I'll ever do. It's a thing that like it comes to mind from time to time. But geez,
Like the
I mean,
novel, the half novel everyone has in a drawer somewhere.
For me, it's a screenplay.
Yeah.
I have two. I will have you know that I have two half novels on my
Nice.
computer. They do not form a complete novel, though.
I was going to say, just combine them and say it's experimental.
I lost my half novel, but I still have my half screenplay. I think I still have my half screenplay.
I would like to believe it's just the middle. Okay. So.
I mean,
Yeah, I do. I just looked for it.
I'd like to hear more if you have any to give, Leon, because by the time we ever do anything with it, everyone will have forgotten because it'll be like a million years from now. But you don't have to.
I have the skeleton of it.
Yeah.
It takes place many years after, like, it's when I say post-apocalyptic, I don't mean Mad Max. I mean in medieval times, the world more or less ended, and the survivors, I guess you could say, the world is sort of like brought back together by a new religion, and the party is sort of like contracted by them to take care of something, and I feel like I don't want to go any further than that.
That's fine.
But yeah, I mean, I have thoughts, but it would need to be like more heavily fleshed out, and it's not happening anytime soon, if at all. And that's that.
Rick Armstrong asks, what is the cutest Pokemon, and why is it Eevee? Do you guys have any Pokemon thoughts?
Eevee.
Oh, sure.
Because of art design.
Okay, so you agree with Eevee, or is that just a joke?
I have no idea.
Aw,
I mean,
you guys have seen Pokemon. What do you think about that Pikachu?
Bill was pretty cute.
I've seen Pokemon, but like if you ask me to name more than 5, like it would be really hard.
Oh, you guys are goofs.
Evelyn was very cute as well.
Okay, those are just the names you gave your Pokemon. This is not productive.
I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, dear.
I remember their names
One of them
and their faces. God, I remember their faces.
One is like a poison ball,
Yeah, there's actually a whole category of poison, guys.
right? But one
Yeah.
of them's a ball.
Coughing?
Might be it.
Okay,
know.
we're not making any headway on this one.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there's a wide variety of cute animal ones because they're just based on real animals that are cute. So like all the dog and cat ones are pretty amazing. Also Rowlet, the new owl, little grass owl, he's very good.
Ooh, yeah, okay, I know Rowlet because I've seen him on the internet.
That's where he
He
lives.
is cute. Him and his little bow tie.
Yeah, he's got a good bow tie. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. I asked everybody on Twitter not to send in political questions, and they complied, but I feel like they sublimated a lot of those desires into trying to get around it. Questions like, how often do you cry? I feel you.
I'm a free crier.
Yeah.
I don't know that I cry frequently, but I certainly have no misgivings about crying. Crying, for me, is a lot like throwing up. A lot of fluids come out of your body, and you feel better afterwards.
That was consumerist skeleton, by the way.
And also, sometimes after sex, both happen. But When I'm really stressed out, I actually probably have a cry like once a week, to tell you the truth.
Wow.
When I have like really bad times. Only, like, sometimes it's not like the full-on, like, sobbing, like the snotty, like, red-eyed. Sometimes it's just kind of this, like, really self-contained, just son of fury.
Is that what getting older is like? Because I'm up to like once a year maybe, and if you're at once a week, like that's an accelerating rate.
Oh no, I'm just a sense-a-muffin.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I could a lot. It just doesn't happen. I don't know what that is. Culture,
No,
biology.
I got over a lot of the whole youthful male kind of like I'm so dead to emotions thing that I did when I was a teenager, and I opened up, and that's like when I say I'm stressed out, when I'm really stressed out, like when things are super bad. Like I did not have a good time this summer, and things were rough. Things were really, really quite rough in the late summer of 2016 for me. And yeah, so maybe I was having a cry like once a week or something like that. But these days, I'm doing all right.
This isn't a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in like nominal space, when I'm like, hey, I'm good. Maybe like I don't know, once every few months.
Leon?
I mean, it depends. Life throws a bunch of shit at you. Right? Who cares? React to it the way that like works for you.
Yeah.
It's my party. I can cry if I want to.
Leon, thoughts?
I cried this morning. I just said in the shower. How often? It's not like timed.
You're a mystery.
I don't know. I don't know. Once or twice a month. I don't know, or not. I've been in very good spirits for the past few months. So maybe only once. No, well, I guess counting today, twice in the past 4 months. I've been feeling really good. I don't know. Sometimes it's wait. I did cry at least 8 times during Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
That's a lot.
It was. I mean, I'm not counting it as once because I don't feel because it's not like it just went on and I couldn't stop myself. I did, and then I stopped, and then it just happened again. I feel like these are separate times. I almost cried when I mistakenly I went to the theater and saw Doctor Strange, and that it did not make me cry. But I try to avoid trailers, but the trailer for the new Star Wars came up. And the music swelled, and I'm like, and I saw Mon Mothma, and I was like, but I did not cry. I was just, it was close. I don't know why Star Wars makes me cry. I think it's just so pure.
Precious cinnamon roll.
It is. It's so beautiful. That's it. I don't know.
This isn't a question, but apparently just a public service announcement. Tilda Adaid wants us to know.
Sure.
Have you ever seen a baby anteater? Because it's adorable.
I don't think so. I mean, I could right now. So
Yeah.
I'm going to.
Everyone, just feel free to Google baby anteater. Apparently, it's worth your time.
No, I'm saving that for a special day.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to bank a couple of those.
I had somebody once gave me a birthday gift.
Mm-hmm.
It was this little jewelry box. It was maybe 4 inches by 4 inches across, and then maybe 1 inch deep or something like that. And she sewed it up in cloth and decorated the front of this cloth with some little buttons and a fortune cookie message and some beads and just flair. And she gave it to me and she said, "Happy birthday." And I was like, "What's this?" She's like, "In this is the solution to the worst day you've ever had in your entire life. When you have reached that lowest point where nothing else is going to save you, when nothing is going to work for you, this will save you. But I warn you, it can only be used once. And I still haven't opened that box yet.
If it's I bet it's a fucking Viagra.
So I'm gonna bank Baby Anteater. I'll save that.
Oh, okay. I just looked at it, and I won't, I mean, I guess I can't spoil a picture for you. But I will just say...
Is it an anteater?
It's a baby anteater.
Whoa.
But I will just say this. With hair, cute. Gross newborn without hair, not at all. Not cute at all. Gross, in fact. I will say one more thing. When I typed in baby anteater into Google, in addition to this, it also had a different category that it recommended to me called anteaters in sweaters. Because that is apparently the third most important thing about anteaters.
What can we say? They look handsome in sweaters.
I don't.
Dang. Let's see here. Lana Seawolf wants to know, given the choice, would you rather ride on the back of a mammoth or a Tyrannosaurus? I think Lana, from what I've told about her posts in the forums, it works with like fucking skeletons in some kind of really boss capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
So this is clearly like a paleontological conundrum. Mammoths are softer, I imagine.
I sort of feel like the Tyrannosauruses, Tyrannosauri,
T-dogs,
that they're the way that at least they are depicted in popular culture, that riding on them would require a great deal of core strength.
I'll also say this. You say mammoths are probably softer, but I believe it is thought that the Tyrannosaurus actually has feathers.
Oh no, I was factoring in feathers. It's feathers versus fur.
Okay, fair enough. I would not ride on a Tyrannosaurus because it would probably realize I am there and then eat me. Whereas I feel like a mammoth, although certainly dangerous, is probably like a lumbering beast and would be like, ugh, am I really going to have to turn my entire body around to gore this guy?
It's a lot of effort.
Here is the thing, though. Okay, this is the thing. If this Tyrannosaurus was, say, perhaps outfitted by the Dino Riders,
yeah,
Oh,
I'm in.
my God.
All right, you guys want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Leon, you know what I'm talking about, right?
We've talked about Dino Riders like six
yeah.
times.
Yeah, it's like it's weird how much we've talked about Dino Riders. It's embarrassing, in fact. Austin, I just want to say, after a long Google search, I decided that my favorite and cutest Pokemon is Chitara from Thundercats.
Thanks for putting in the work there, Leon. Putting in the effort.
I know.
It means a lot to me.
All right, you guys want to desync? Unless anyone has any goofy things.
I can't think of anything funnier than that. The way you just
then
totally poke-blocked me.
I did. Okay, then desync on 3.
I just can't wait until I see the expression on his face in the busts in the library. I mean, that's gonna be like, is there gonna be a thumbs up too? Is it gonna be like? Because traditionally, busts just
it can't. It can't be real. It can't. He cannot be as president. It's not real. It's
fascinating.
It's unfathomable.
I mean,
No.
Wow.
Desync on 3.
All right.
You amaze me, America.
All right. 1.
Sometimes I'm glad I'm a foreigner.
Oh my God. 1.
I love you. Stay strong. I'll be back.
All that's getting cut.